We'll call a meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Here.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Kristen Krass, Craig Gerlach,
Yes.
Justin Herder, Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Here.
Gordon Shallow, Charles Spargo.
Here.
Open meeting certification. This December 21st, 2020 meeting of the Mid-State Technical College District Board of Directors and all other meetings of the board and or its committees is open to the public in compliance with state statutes. Notice of this meeting has been sent to news media and designated persons in an attempt to make the citizens of Mid-State Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of the meeting. We have an open forum. Is there anybody here who would like to talk? Okay, I'll go without all the agenda. Action on the November board meeting minutes.
Also move. This is Betty.
Second, Gerlach.
Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carried. Consent agenda.
I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second, Miller.
Okay. Are there any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky-Malik,
Yes.
Craig Gerlach,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Okay, the district chairperson's report. For those of you who made it, welcome to the meeting. Kristen, Justin, Gordon, and are absent, and it has to be excused. Winter Boards Association will be held virtually on January 15th, and it's about the political landscape. It's going to be in the afternoon, I understand. Is that right, Angie? Just the afternoon?
The
Correct.
board meeting is in the afternoon. The in-service is actually being held in the morning.
Okay, all right, so got that clear. Betty's going to attend. I will attend the morning session. Anybody else that wants to should contact Angie. So if you let her know tonight, be good. ACCT Legislative Summit will be held virtually. Shelley, did we find out, is that kind of a group deal again, so it doesn't cost individually?
I can speak to that, Bob, for you. There is a discount based on the number of individuals that you have from your organization. So if we have a range, they discount a certain amount, and then when you get to a higher range, they discount a little bit more. So the discounted rate is significantly discounted from what they normally charge. So anyone interested in attending should definitely feel free and just let me know.
Okay, I would be interested then if we got the discounted rate.
So would I. This is Betty. If I can get connected up.
Yeah.
So would I if I don't have something in my schedule, but I don't right now.
Okay, anybody else that's interested should let Angie know.
Okay.
Those general session speakers are good, and there are some sectionals, and we should get a list of them that are more interesting than others. And who knows? I guess we don't know what politically is going to go on in Washington, D.C., so it could be a really interesting session. Next meeting date is Monday, January 18th. We'll meet virtually or at the Wisconsin Rapids campus. Committee of the whole will be held at 4:30. Regular meeting at 4:40. Anybody got any other thoughts? I sent you guys an email suggesting that at the end of the meeting, after we've adjourned, if you're interested, I kind of like to chit chat with people about what they're doing with kids or not doing and Christmas holidays. We usually do that when as a group, but can't do that tonight. So if you're interested, fine. If you're not, that's fine too. And I would ask administrators if they're interested too as well. Okay, Shelley, you're up.
Okay, Thanks, Bob. So just a few things, everyone, as far as campus activities and community involvement. I'd like to really begin by recognizing 2 retirements. You may recall this is something that we started a few months ago to try to either invite them to a board meeting or to at least show a picture and just do some recognition. So I think, Angie, you have this, and if you could, thank you. She's going to bring this up. We have 2 retirements. Which total over, I think it's 25 years between these 2 people. Some of you may know them. So the first one is Deb Crunkleton, and Deb is our faculty. She's our instructor in our arborist technician, and she's been with the college for 15 years of service. So she just finished her final semester with us. And then we also have another individual by the name of Jan Tusher. And Jan has been with the college for 12 years of service, and she was in the position of our learning resource specialist. So we're going to miss both of these individuals, but we're happy for them to kind of get to that next chapter. So just want to kind of start up my report with that. So congratulations to both of them, and especially their contributions that they have done to Midstate. They've made it a better place, that's for sure. From some very specific campus activities, couple things is, remember college conversations? This is something that I started a while ago where I would sit down and really just have some conversations each semester with our staff. I wanted you to know that I did do them between November and now, where I did hold them virtually. We had, I think, 4 of them, and I was really happy with the level of engagement. We had over 150 employees that came through to be part of those virtual meetings. So I think that just speaks to people want to know what's going on. And, you know, if there's any questions, it's an opportunity for them to ask me or for me to share some updates. So just really glad that we've had that level of engagement. And I think when Karen's going to talk about our winter celebration, again, it was highly attended, which I think speaks to, again, just the good employees and what we're trying to do here. And graduation, I know Mandy's going to give a report out to you tonight on that. I mean, oh my goodness, it went so well. And, you know, even our nursing pinning and our law enforcement academy graduation, we've been able to do both of those as well in a very creative fashion. So again, just want to reassure you that we really have tried to make our events memorable. They maybe have just been done a little bit different way. And I think this is really about our exceptional customer service that we're trying to deliver. And I think that will continue to set Midstate apart. I really believe that. We're going into our winterim and our spring semester, really kind of a status quo as to how we are finishing our fall semester. So we're continuing to have all of our safety precautions. We really have not changed any of that. We still are not going to be doing any rentals for at least the first part of the semester, continuing to keep really the minimal amount of staff on campus, continuing though to hold small in-person classes. So again, kind of status quo with what we're doing. We're all watching the vaccine information and definitely will stay on top of that. And I know the COVID team will. And if you've been listening to the news, you have heard that there may be a new package that is coming our way from a federal level. And this part of that is a COVID relief bill. And we're hoping to get more of the details of what that means for education. We're hoping to get some details tomorrow. But it does look like they will be providing some educational dollars, similar to what they may have done through the CARES Act that happened in March. Again, we don't have the detail, but at first blush, it looks like maybe there may be more direct money that may come right to us rather than going through the governor. So we're excited about that. I've heard a number of 82 billion is what the number is for education relief funds, and definitely K through 12 is getting some money. And then it looks like there's about, of that 82 billion for education, I think about 22 billion is what I'm seeing for higher education. And we definitely would fall into that. So we'll just kind of see. We don't know if it's going to be tied to expenses of what we already have spent. Really don't know. We also know that there is some thoughts that Pell Grant, that there will maybe be more larger dollar amounts that we can give out to students. So I'm kind of expecting there might be organizational dollars and then more financial aid dollars that we can give out. There, it appears that incarcerated individuals maybe would qualify for Pell Grants, which is something that you all have helped advocate for. So, we'll see. I really would expect in January, we'll be able to give you more of a report about what that package means for us. But it is exciting to hear that there could be something coming our way. And then from a community standpoint, the Legacy Board, which you may recall is out of Wisconsin Rapids, the Legacy Foundation, they were, just a champion with our healthcare simulation center. They brought their board over to be able to tour the 3rd floor of the hospital just to kind of see the renderings in person of how the simulation center is coming to be a reality. So that was really exciting to show them, and they're going to be coming back. We're hoping in March or April when we actually have students there, but it was really neat to see their excitement. As far as WTCS updates and President's Association, we did have a President's meeting on December 9th, and that meeting really entailed, again, talking about what the colleges are doing for the spring semester, which again is pretty much the same as what everybody is doing for fall. We also wished Kaylin Benzing, if you know Kaylin, she is the president at Waukesha County Technical College. She is retiring this month. So she has a new person who is coming in. So we had put together a really neat little thank you presentation for her. And then all of the presidents kind of gave their updates on the different groups that we all are part of and our liaisons and so forth. It was a little bit shorter meeting since it was in December, which also means then that I have a half a year done, everybody, as serving as the president for the association. And so not that I'm checking off, but it's been a really good year though. I really have learned a lot, and hopefully the presidents would say that I've led them well. So I've got a half a year to go there, but that would end my report unless there's any questions for me. Okay,
I
so
just
then
sleep with the trigger there, Chuck. You're up.
Okay. We've already dealt with the consent agenda items. Greg addressed the questions the committee had prior to the meeting today, so everything was taken care of there. On page 16, we've got the budget modifications for the month of November. We talked about most of this last month, specifically the $27,000 shift from one fund to another between 1 and 3. It was actually included in the financials last month, but it was missed on this listing of budget modification. So that's shown. Auditors asked for some adjustments, one to reflect the CARES Act minor amount of $872 adjustment. And then we had to shift the recognition of the proceeds from debt from what was intended to be 2021 back to 2020 because we got that money the last day of the fiscal year of the 2020 budget. Again, we talked about that last month, but it didn't show up in the budget modification. So now that is taken care of. So that was both the proceeds from debt, the cost of the debt filing, and the bond premium. The next page, page 17, shows the current budget with those budget modifications factored in. Relatively minor changes to the revenue and expenditure budget items as noted. The biggest change was down in the changes in fund equity section. You recall in our original budget, we had $5.5 million in proceeds from debt because we got $4.5 million of that early. That actually showed up in budgeted fund equity as of 6/30 of 20 in last month's report. In this month's report, we still have that in fund equity, but the financial department is showing that as a separate item down at the bottom of the changes in fund equity. So the net doesn't change, just how it's represented better reflects. So it leaves the budgeted fund equity as of 6/30 unchanged, just has an additional line item there for the fund equity adjustment for that money coming in early and carrying over to this year in fund equity. Page 18 shows current actuals for the fiscal year 2021. We received approximately $2 million in revenue or recognized revenue in the month, about $600,000 in student fees, $600,000 in state aids and grants, and about $500,000 in internal sales, media services, and self-funded insurances, Fund 6. We expended or recognized the expenditures of $3.7 million in the month of November. So our outflows exceeded inflows by about 1.7 million. So our year-to-date accrued fund equity dropped by about 1.7 million, but we're still in very good shape. We've recognized or received 55% of our budgeted revenue year-to-date and have spent 36% or recognized expenditures of 36% of our budget year-to-date. We've gone through 42% of the year, roughly. We have the greatest control over the current expenditure item. And though we've finished 42% of the year, we've only spent 38% of the current expenditures, so we're doing well there. The next page shows our balance sheet. We've got 19.3 million in cash and investments. That's about 68% of our monthly maximum, which occurred in February of 2017. The next page, page 20, shows budget modifications made for the month of June 2020. This again is to take care of corrections that the audit requested, the modifications we talked about earlier, $17,000 for the industrial mechanical program. That was actually included in the financial changes that we've approved earlier in the year, but it was missed on this listing of budget modifications. So while it doesn't change the overall budget, it now shows this as a budget change on this form. And then we've got the capital project, the fund allocation change from fiscal 21 back to fiscal 20, and the other costs and bond premium that we took out of fiscal 21 and put back in 20. So both annual budgets have been modified now to correct that. That completes all of the budget modifications that we needed to do for fiscal 20. We've got a exhibit G on the next page, page 21. We had one like this back in May for the first half of the year. And this is the second half of the year, catching up and tying in everything to make it official through a resolution to officially modify the budget based on all the monthly changes that we've done through the year then. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve Exhibit G, budget amendment dated December 21st, 2020.
Is there a second to that?
Second, Gerlach.
Any questions? If not, roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty. Betty,
You're muted, Betty.
Yes,
Her mouth said yes.
sorry.
Gerlach,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
Yes,
Charles Spargo,
Yes. The next item on our agenda is the 2019-2020 audited financial statements, and Greg will introduce our guest for the evening.
Thank you, Chuck. Before I introduce the presenter from Clifton Larson and Allen, I want to wish each of you and your families a happy and safe holiday season. Each year, per state statute 38.12, Mid-State Technical College is to be audited by an outside accounting firm. The college is in its 5th year of a 5-year agreement with Clifton Larson and Allen to perform the audit and provide Mid-State Board a review of its work and its findings. Today, Dave Mocco from CLA will present the financial information for year ending June 30th, 2020. Many of you may remember Dave from previous years. Welcome, Dave.
Okay, thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you should have a copy of the annual financial report and the what we call the executive audit summary. So I'll briefly touch on the annual financial report, and then we can move into the executive audit summary that pretty much summarizes the audit and the results of the audit for the year ended June 30th of 2020. Now I will point out that the single audit is not attached because the federal government has not issued guidance on the CARES funding that the organization has received. So rather than issue and then recall and reissue, we are waiting for that guidance. Initially, it was expected to be issued by November. Now we heard mid-December, and obviously we're past mid-December and they have not issued it. So we are waiting for the guidance. Our compliance work was tested. We did not have any areas of concern, but until we get the final guidance for the CARES, we may have some additional test work that we may need to do. So just want to clarify why you do not see the single audit in the annual financial report. The annual financial report that you do have does present the financial statements and results of operation of the district as of June 30th of 2020. I'll kind of hit some of the highlights in the annual financial report, like I said, and then go to the executive audit summary. So key points, if we go to page 3 of the document, the independent auditors report. This is really our report to the district board of Mid-State. We indicate that we did not, that we audited the financial statements that are contained within this document, that these financial statements are the responsibility of management. So the financial information you receive on a monthly basis is the same financial information we do review and look at as part of the audit. Our key contribution is on the bottom of page 3. It is our opinion page, and we indicate that in our opinion, the financial statements contained in front of you present fairly in all material respects. So it is a clean or unmodified opinion. Then if we turn to page 4 just talks about, in addition to the basic financial statements, there's additional information that's either required supplementary information or other information that is designed to complement the report. It's contained within this document. Then if we turn to page 5 is the management's discussion and analysis. So page 5 through page 13 of the document is prepared by management of the college. It goes through key financial indicators, provides the board and anyone reviewing your financial statements a quick synopsis of a quick read and understanding what happened in 2020 with a comparison to the prior year. Then if we turn to page 14 through page 19 are what we call your basic financial statement. So page 14 is your statement of net position. It presents both the district and the foundation. So as in the case in the past, the foundation is a separate legal entity designed to complement the work of the district. So because of that, it is a significant relationship to the district. We do present it as a component unit, but it is a separate column to indicate that it is managed by a separate board and it's a separate legal entity. If you look at some key changes in 2020, if you look at the first aspect of the assets, current assets are pretty much consistent from year to year. No major changes within, so you're about 19.7 to 19.5, so real consistent between the 2 years. Then if you look at your non-current assets, that increased from about 41.5 million to 49.4. key changes here is under the first column, first line, restricted cash and investments. As you heard before, you did receive the bond proceeds that is to fund additional project cost in 2021. You received that by the end of the year because it was issued. It is cash, it is assets, it is liabilities of the district, but you can see your restricted cash is increased by the reflection that you got the cash, but you're really holding it at the end of the year. And then if you look at the other part, if you look at your capital assets, you can see an increase in your capital assets. Basically indicates that you are reinvesting in the assets of the district in the current year. Then if you, the other area is the net pension asset. I missed that, excuse me. That went up to about 3.3 million versus a liability last year. That is purely your proportionate share of the Wisconsin retirement system. As we've talked in the past, the retirement system is the system, the pension system you provide to your employees. As a statewide system, you are required to reflect either the portion of the asset or portion of the liability. And it gets a little more complicated, but it really indicates that as of December 31st, so there's a little bit of lag, but as of December 31st of 2019, the Wisconsin retirement system was in a position where it had more assets than liabilities, primarily due to the strong investment year in 2019. So if you've been on the board for a while, you know that number either oscillates between an asset or a liability. Still a very strong system within the pension systems of the state system. So no real concerns there. Then liabilities, your liabilities overall, your long-term liabilities did stay or come down as you paid down some liabilities and as you saw your net pension. So had you not recognized that liability for the end of the year issuance, your long-term liabilities would have been lower going forward. And then your net position increased from about 21.7 million to about 23.8 million or 4 million. So it's about a $1.7 million increase. Page 15 just goes through the changes of the increases, and it shows that revenues are up under a full accrual. So this is not how you adopt your budget, but you know how it reflects the financial position. So revenues are up to about 10.5 million. Expenses stayed relatively flat at about 40.9 million to about almost 41 million. So real consistent expenditures. You can see your non-operating revenues consist of property taxes and grants. We did reclassify based on some of the CARES and some of the clarification. The Nakubo said a lot of that CARES and a lot of the Pell grants should be reported as non-operating. So in the past, they might have been operating, but you can see that increase in federal grants from about 3.9 to about 4.9 is primarily due to the CARES funding you did receive. So overall, real strong financial results. And when we look at the executive summary, we'll kind of talk about the changes there. And then if we look on page 16, your cash flow, you do have a positive cash flow in the current year. So it reflects capital debt of about 9.5 million. Of course, some of that is the issue that occurred right at the end of the year. You did pay down about 5.6 million, and your reinvestment in capital assets was about 3.8. So really reflects that you are, as a district, reinvesting in the capital assets of the district. The rest of the report goes through notes and various different clarifications to the financial results, but unless anyone has any questions, we'll move to the executive summary. Any questions on anything within the financial report? Okay, the second document is the executive audit summary. Like I indicated, this is really designed to kind of pull out the key financial information for 2020 in comparison to the prior year. If you turn to the executive audit summary, that is page 1. We talked about the audit opinion. It is a clean audit opinion. We did not identify any deficiencies over financial reporting or compliance were reported. So yeah, when we look at internal controls, we did not identify any findings within your internal control structure. We also look at the yellow book and compliance findings. We did not have any compliance financing related to financial reporting. And then, as we indicated, the net position did go up. Then if we turn to page 2, page 2 is an important communication because we are required to make a formal communication to the board to really talk about accounting practices, to talk about any significant accounting estimates, the policies that are contained in the report are consistent with governments and consistent with the state and local colleges and universities. So you follow very consistent accounting policies. If you look at page 3, there are some estimates. These estimates are, meaning that there could be some change in values, but we do review these estimates each year, and we think they're reasonable and appropriate. Then if you go to page 4, we indicate that we have corrected, or there's been no uncorrected misstatements, meaning anything, we don't believe there to be any uncorrected adjustments. Then on the bottom of page 4 to page 5, really talks about how the audit went. And I do want to point out, with COVID, this was a very different audit, meaning we were off-site a lot of the audit, and we did come on-site a little bit to work with the team there. But certainly appreciate the staff of the college in getting us information. Obviously it's a little bit different when you're not right there, and the staff within the business office and throughout the college were very vital in getting the audit done, and we do appreciate that. Then on page 6 talks about internal controls. We did not have any internal controls. If you turn to page 7, we are recommending that the district perhaps take a look at your procurement policy, making sure it follows federal guidelines. All our testing of procurement did not identify anything, but it's more of a recommendation to, as the rules that the federal government keep changing, to make sure your policies mirror those requirements of the federal guidelines. Any questions on that before we look at the financial trends? Okay, if we look at starting on page 8, the financial trends, a couple things here. Really, this is to present the activities for 2020 and 19. Just want to kind of go through some of the highlights, and then we'll entertain any questions you may have. But the general fund did go up about $100,000. That's important because your general fund is your general operating fund. If you look at how you did from a budgetary perspective, your final amended budget did project a decrease in fund balance of a little under $550,000. So when you look at the positive nature of the operations, you had a very strong budget to actual because you actually turned a slight profit of about $100,000 versus the budget. Now, some of that funds are carried forward and designated for future activities, but from a perspective looking forward, the district did have a positive general fund year. Then the debt service did increase due to some of the premiums, etc. That went into there as a result of the 2 refundings. So that is a normal factoring in the refundings. You can see a couple new categories related to some of the funds within the special revenue funds that are really established for either emergency relief funds, etc. And so overall, and then you can see the capital project funds. You did increase there. Once again, that's related to the late adjustment for the bond proceeds. Then if you turn to page 9 goes through your proprietary funds and kind of looks at those from year to year. And then Finally, Appendix B really is a technical appendix that goes through. There are some accounting rules that will be applicable for future financial statements, and just a more of a informational purposes. Key thing that probably is going to have an impact on you is the recording of leases and any leases. So we're just recommending that you start the process. Now, GASB did delay the implementation of both of these due to COVID, so you have a little bit more additional time to evaluate them. And with that, I'll entertain any questions anyone may have either on the annual financial report or our executive audit summary. Like I said, just want to appreciate the staff at the college for their level of effort in working with our team to get the audit done. Any questions?
Are there any questions? If not, a motion is in order.
I'd make a motion to approve or accept the audit as presented.
Second, Miller.
Any other questions? If not, roll call, please, Angie.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
You're muted, Betty.
Yes.
Craig Gerlach,
Yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Leah Miller,
Yes.
Carl Spargo.
Yes.
Motion carried. Betty, you're up with academic and the students of services.
Thank you, Dave.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see, Academic and Student Services Committee, we have program changes with Dr. Deb Stencil.
Good evening, everyone. As you know,
Good evening, Deb.
Midstate continually reviews its programming options to make sure that they are relevant and needed in our district. Tonight, I'm going to be asking you to consider taking action on several program changes. As an academic team works through our 3-year product development plan, we continue to look at adding pathways that will provide students with a credential and the opportunity to work in the field while they continue their associate degree program. So we have 2 new programs that I'd like to present to you tonight. The first is the Firefighter Technician Embedded Technical Diploma. So Midstate offered the Fire Protection Associate Degree Program since 2016. This new program will embed into that associate degree program, providing a new pathway for those who are interested in this field. We verified the need for the program, both by looking at job outlook data as well as surveying career departments within the Midstate District, and all support adding this embedded technical diploma to the Fire Protection Associate Degree Program. We also found out that this would support and retain 25 jobs in Adams County, 141 jobs in Portage County, and 87 jobs in Wood County. So I'm asking for your approval for this 1-year, 28 credit program that we plan to launch in the fall of 2021. This program will not require any additional classroom upgrades or any additional instructional equipment.
I would so move for the approval.
Second.
Second. Do I have a second, please?
Second, Chuck.
Thank you. All in favor, or I'm sorry, roll call?
Bob, you can do a voice vote on these.
I missed that. So, help me again, Angie, please.
You can do a voice vote on these approvals.
Okay. So I think, Deb, you can go ahead, as I understand.
Okay. 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 The second program.
I think, Bob, if I can interrupt, I think we just need to have on the record, though, that if you agree to say something, and then if there's any opposed to say, is that right, Angie? That's what you need?
Yeah, if we could do a motion and a second and then a voice vote for these as Deb calls for them, that would be appreciated.
I have my hearing aids in too, folks. Okay, we had a motion and a second. Can we have a voice vote to approve that firefighter technician embedded technical diploma? Everybody say aye.
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 Okay, opposed, motion carries. Okay, now, Deb.
Okay, Very good. All right. The second new program is a Fabrication Technician Technical Diploma. This program prepares graduates for jobs as a steel fabricator, a fitter, a welder fabricator, a structural fabricator, and a weld technician. So we again completed a needs assessment and respondents affirmed the need for the program. The majority of businesses that we surveyed reported that they would hire a graduate if we had offered this program. And this program will complement our welding program that we currently offer. We'll potentially launch this program in fall of 2022 at the Advanced Manufacturing, Engineering, Technology, and Apprenticeship Center in Stevens Point. Classroom upgrades and instructional equipment would be purchased through our academic capital and our facilities capital budget. Any questions about that program?
We have a motion.
So moved, Gerlach.
I will move this. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. The next item is a program suspension. So we're asking the Mid-State Board to approve the suspension of the barbering/cosmetology instructor technical diploma program. So this is not either our barbering technical diploma or our cosmetology technical diploma. This is an instructor program. So just as a reminder, when we suspend a program, we have up to 3 years to either bring it back, reinstate it, or discontinue it. So I'm asking tonight if we could suspend this program. The state of Wisconsin recently made law changes so that they no longer require instructors to have a license to teach. And again, that's the difference with this program. It's an instructor program. We have not had a student in this program since the 2016-17 year, and we have currently no students in the program. So because of the change, we don't feel this program is necessary. So I'd like to have a motion to suspend this program.
Do we have to do these all separately too?
This one we do, and I'm going to propose that the programs that I'm asking for discontinuance, if you could do them together. I think that would be fun.
All right, need a motion and a second then, folks. Second.
This is Betty, and I'll approve.
Tucker,
Okay,
second.
everybody in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion carried. Okay, Deb.
Thank you very much. Okay, last one. We're seeking approval to discontinue 4 programs. These programs were all previously suspended for administrative reasons. And I want to go through each one where there's been either a change in the hours of the program or a change in the name, program name, or the program title. We currently are serving our students through other programs, and that's why these programs are no longer necessary, and there are no active students in these programs. So the first one is our Criminal Justice Law Enforcement Program. This one included an embedded academy, so an embedded law enforcement academy. However, when the academy hours changed from 520 to 720 hours, we decided to no longer embed the academy in the program. So this program is no longer needed. Our students are now served in our Criminal Justice Studies Associate Degree Program. So that's the first one. The second one is our Criminal Justice Law Enforcement 2. This was an option for students who just wanted the associate degree and not the certification academy option. And the current program that we offer right now provides that for students. We have our Criminal Justice Studies Associate Degree Program, so we are currently meeting student need with that program. The third one is a Criminal Justice Law Enforcement 520 Academy. This one was suspended because the state of Wisconsin increased the hours from 520 to 720. So this program is no longer needed and it's been replaced, and we offer the Law Enforcement Academy 720-hour academy. And then the final one, I just have a note related to the agenda. There was an error with the title of the program. This program was called the Health Informatics and Information Management Program. And what's interesting with this program is the accrediting body for this program, which is the American Health Information Management Association, no longer would allow the term informatics in the title. And so therefore, all of these programs had to change. And we now have a Health Information Management Associate Degree Program. So again, it's an administrative change. We're serving students in this program, the Health Information Management Associate Degree Program. We just could not have what was called our Health informatics and information management program. So with that, I'm asking for you to consider that we submit to the program continuation documentation to the Wisconsin Technical College System Board to discontinue these 4 programs for administrative purposes.
Do I have a motion?
I will so move. This is Betty. I would move for,
Okay, is there a second?
Spargo.
Second Gerlach.
All right.
Thank you
All
very
in-
much.
All in
Thank you.
favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
Mhm.
Thanks, Deb. Next is graduation. There's Mandy.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. We held our May 2020 and December 2020 graduation ceremonies on Sunday, December 13th. It was a very unique drive-in style ceremony. We promised these students, our May students, that that this is something that we would do. So we were really committed to making this happen in a safe way. And we had 31 May grads and 77 December grads participate in the ceremony. A slideshow of student names and pictures was used for the processional, and then students were able to walk across the stage to receive their diploma. Many of our departments around the college worked together on this project. Our student life, IT, facilities, marketing, security, our bookstore, and our ELT was involved. 17 additional mid-state staff and faculty from across the college volunteered to assist in the ceremony, directing cars, handing out goodie bags, checking in graduates, and many more things they were volunteering for. We had over 20 trees that were wrapped in lights for the graduates drive through campus. We had the college semi, renewable truck, a squad car, ambulance, and the mic were parked along the route, all of which were decorated as well. And then we had fireworks that wrapped up the speaking portion of the ceremony at the point when we conferred the students' degrees and then students moved their tassels. It was so exciting to be there and watch and listen to those horns honking. It was just such a great part. Students and families were just so appreciative of being able to have this in-person ceremony. Several participants emailed after the event expressing their gratitude to Midstate for such a memorable event. And I want to read one of those emails to you. Just an email to let you know of the outstanding job, and big shout out of praise goes out to you and all involved with the outdoor graduation for spring and fall semesters for 2020. We realized the huge undertaking this was to make it all happen and pull off the special graduation exercise for the graduates in lieu of the unusual circumstances that existed with the pandemic. All could have easily not happened for this special time in the graduates' lives, and we commend all involved that made this very special event a live ceremony this past Sunday. We would also like to give our appreciation to Andrew for his professionalism and positivity given to our daughter Acacia when she needed to pre-record her speech for the graduation. He was very kind and helpful with trying to accomplish this task. Thank you. We had family viewing from Wisconsin, Illinois, Kansas City, Missouri, Iowa, Utah, Wyoming, and Pennsylvania, all tuning in for the event and said what an awesome ceremony it was. Truly a huge thank you and sincere appreciation from the bottom of our hearts for allowing the graduation ceremony for 2020 to happen in person, and proud to have MSTC in our community. Keep smiling and move forward as we will all continue to do our best. It was really heartwarming to get such great emails, and we received several really nice comments. Channel 9 was also there and covered the event. We have a short clip of their coverage to show you. Before we go to that, I want to give a really big thank you to Natasha Miller, who coordinated all of the details for this event. She did just a fantastic job bringing everyone together and making this a really memorable and unique event for our students. Angie?
Thank you. A local technical college found a new way to hand out diplomas this year. Mid-State Technical College held a graduation ceremony from the parking lot of the Wisconsin Rapids campus. Students lined up in cars with their families, jumping out one by one to walk across the stage. The college's president says despite the pandemic, they wanted to find a way to make this happen.
We needed to do this for our students because they deserved it, and we wanted to tell our graduates, both our May graduates and our December graduates, this is for you.
And they're calling it a re-graduation because, as you just heard, both December and May 2020 grads got their
Thank you. Any questions about graduation?
Thanks, Mandy.
Thank you.
Okay, Human Resources and External Relations. Who's got this? Karen, are you up?
I will be up. We have no Justin tonight, so we'll wing it without him. We're all good. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was our winter celebration. So for the last couple of years, we've had a winter celebration, kind of a fall semester send-off celebration, the end of the fall semester, and sending off for the break in person at each campus. And we had lunch, and then we were virtually connected, so every campus could see every other campus virtually. That was not possible to do those large in-person gatherings this year. So we did a virtual event last Thursday, December 17th. We had over 180 employees that participated, as well as a couple of you. The event included, as always, remarks from Shelley, including corny jokes, which is a given. We had our gift opening.
Karen, I can't believe you're saying that, but yeah, they were pretty corny.
It is true. It is true. And we had the gift opening. So we had sent everybody a package, including you, and asked them to wait until the event to open the package. And we opened them together. And there was a surprise in 20 of the packages that was a golden ticket, and those people got a special prize. We did announce our winners for the 1920 Red Apple Award for our faculty, and that winner was Jill Quinn, and our 1920 Gold Star Award for staff, and that winner was Deb McDonald. And Deb had retired since when she was named the winner and when we got to announce it, so we brought her back for the winter celebration, and she was so excited to get to see everybody. And then, as always, our annual Ugly Sweater contest and the wonderful prizes that are attached to that. They're two really gaudy trophies. So the event was great. We sent out a survey afterwards. As of this morning, we had an approval rating of 95.5% for that event. So it was, we got to do it, not the way we'd like to, but again, better than nothing. We try to do something. So any of you who were at the event want to give some words?
It was fun to see. Glad it was done. A great effort. Fun to see everything happening like that. And it was a very nice gift to open up at that time. Thank you.
Yeah, the blankets were very well received. And if you were watching the chat, sometimes the chats couldn't come in fast enough with comments and thank yous, and it was just a lot of fun.
Well, the blankets are nice. They're warm. My wife makes me take a nap every afternoon, and so I use it.
Yeah. We looked at, we normally provide a meal for everybody, and we didn't do that. So we thought this was a fun way to kind of unite everybody and provide everybody an item that is not available anywhere else. We didn't pull something off the bookstore shelf. These were made especially for that event. So we've had people ask if they can buy them.
Thanks.
So with that, my second item is employee increases. So if you remember, we had elected when we would normally give increases in July, for July 1st. We had elected not to do that this last July 1. We had the uncertainty of the coming year. Remember, we would have been in May and June deciding that. In May and June, we had no idea what was going to happen in the coming year. And, we just weren't comfortable approving an increase that would go on people's base. But we did tell employees that we would re-look at it again for a potential increase mid-year. So we have been doing that. We, as an executive leadership team, have been reviewing the current 2021 budget every month, once a month this fall, because there's a lot of moving parts this year. There's, stimulus package that Shelley talked about, and there is FTE and everything else we're looking at, state aid. And some of the moving parts have fallen into place and been settled, and we know what they are, and some we still do not know. But we determined at the beginning of December that we were unable to commit to a base wage increase mid-year that would incur budget impact for future years. So we're looking out for next year. If we did something now, it would automatically impact us next year. In lieu of that, though, we did determine that we could give a lump sum payment to each employee, nothing that went on the base, but just something recognizing their effort. So last Monday, the 14th, checks were sent to all regular full-time employees with a gross amount of $500 and regular part-time employees with a gross amount of $250. It's really, as we were talking about it, it really kind of fell into place well, because outcomes-based funding, we had expected and budgeted a certain amount of revenue from outcomes-based funding. And we exceeded that amount of revenue from outcomes-based funding because of the hard work of our employees. So we exceeded our goals and how we compared with the other colleges in many areas. And actually, the amount of the lump sum payments is almost identical to the amount of the additional outcomes-based funding revenue that we received. So we thought it was really fitting that this unexpected revenue due to the hard work of our employees is what we turned around and gave them back as a lump sum mid-year this year. We've received lots of positive comments. Most people expected nothing, because we had told them that we'd look at it, but there was no guarantees. So a lot of really great comments. One email Shelley got said, "Shelley, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you and your team does for all of the Mid-State family. The stipend is such an unexpected great surprise. I am very grateful for it. I'm also grateful for all the updates we are provided. I feel kept in the loop and appreciated the helpful links that are sent out to help everyone and their family during these trying times. Thanks again and happy holidays." So that's one example. We've probably gotten probably about 10. But as we work through the FY22 budget, we will determine whether a salary increase is appropriate for July 1 of 21. I think at this point we're hoping so, but I think what we've learned is that nothing's guaranteed, and we'll do our best. Any questions about the lack of base increases or the lump sum payments?
I think anything would have been appreciated by employees. Good big gesture.
Okay, thank you. Now we're at the committee of the whole, and excuse me. Shelley and Bobby gave us an update on our advanced technology program and building and so forth that we've talked about going on at Stevens Point. And for some of you remember that we had the 3 employers come and talk to us about the idea, and are really committed to it. And Wayne gave the land. I believe somebody said it was 5 acres and worth pretty close to $250,000. And in the effort for between the college and the donation of the land and commitment from other people for cash, as well as in kind with equipment and what have you, we're somewhere around 3.6 million total with the college. and a good number of partners that Bobby went through for us. And I mean, I think the staff should be commended for what they've done, and certainly thank all those people who have stepped up and either in kind, the land, however you wanted to, and the cash, certainly committed cash for down the road. So I think it's very, very positive. It was a great report, I thought, for given where we started and COVID, and you can't really get with everybody, and you know, so I think it's a great job. Bobby and Shelley should be commended on that. Yes, I agree. Okay, next up is discussion and action. Mandy and Jackie are going to tell us all about the translation rates and dual credit information.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Jackie and Morgan and Mo, go ahead and turn your videos on if you want. So our K-12 team here is here tonight to really share the 2019-20 K-12 annual report with you. I just want to share first how proud I am of this team this year and always, but you may remember from the dashboard that we shared with you that this team met and exceeded all of their goals this last year, which I think is just a phenomenal thing considering how the year ended with COVID. I also want to take just a moment to introduce the team. Jackie Esselman, who is our manager of K-12 and adult recruitment, leading the team and working with Wisconsin Rapids and Adams area schools. Morgan Anderson, college outreach coordinator, working primarily with Marshfield area schools, and Mo Simon, the newest member of our team, a college outreach coordinator working primarily with the Stevens Point area schools. Mo joined the college in her role in March, right at the same time that we really kind of closed our campuses and went virtual due to the pandemic. So she is going to share a little bit about herself with you. Mo?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mo Simon. My name is Morgan, but since there's two Morgans here, I just decided to go with my long-term nickname so we could kind of differentiate between the two of us on the team. As Mandy mentioned, I started in March, so it was interesting to be handed my computer and sent home because that was right when the college had shut down and be onboarding virtually. But I'm really excited to be a part of the team. I've always had an interest in higher education. For the past 7 years, I've been the marketing communications director for the Wisconsin Rapids Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I have a lot of experience in the central Wisconsin area and working with community partners. I also am the co-executive director of the Miss Wisconsin Rapids Scholarship Organization. So that's where I've really had the opportunity to work with youth who are pursuing their higher education goals and kind of working on those soft skills and more so asking them what they want to do and what they're passionate about instead of asking them what they want to go to school for. So even though the last couple months that I've worked here have looked different for education, I've really enjoyed getting to know my high school partners and my students. Just today I had 6 student appointments, and it's interesting to hear all of their backgrounds and why they chose Mid-State and to help support them in their goals. So happy to be a part of the team and to meet you all virtually.
Thank you, Mo. Hey, Jackie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. Hi, everyone, and thanks again for having us. I'm really excited to share this report with you. You should have a copy that was mailed out prior to this meeting. So overall, just some highlights. We did have a record year with our transition rate overall, dual credit transition rates, and really our efforts collaboratively working with our K-12 districts and Mid-State in general. And I think that these increases can really be attributed to our connections with our high school partners, our office hours that we've been consistently holding for the last couple of years. So our students and staff there really recognizing us as Mid-State and as a post-secondary resource really for whatever their next steps might be. The first couple of pages of the report talk a little bit about events, and I want to turn it over to Morgan Anderson just to highlight some key events that we held in fall of 2019 that allowed us to offer some in-person, but then quickly shift to maybe the more virtual format because of the pandemic. So Morgan, go ahead.
Thanks, Jackie, and good evening, everyone. My name's Morgan. I'm the other Morgan on the outreach team. And I know you've heard this before, but the 2019 and 2020 school year, we've really morphed to serve students in whatever way was best for them. So on pages 2, 3, and 4, you can see how outreach has provided in-person, virtual, on-demand, and by request events. When we started the fall semester, fall 2019, we were on campus, so primarily as planned. One event that we were able to roll out was Skillsusa. So this district event invited 85 students who are not only mid-state district students, but also out-of-district students to engage in career and technical competitions in preparation for their regional event. Additionally, we served about 4,100, students through on-campus events, and that took place primarily during our fall semester because we quickly shifted, like Jackie said, in January to a more virtual aspect. In spring, our sign-on day was originally planned to be on the Marshfield campus, and we changed that to be a virtual event. So we mailed a box that included a congratulatory message from their school's dean, as well as a baseball hat, and we invited every student to share their commitment and their excitement by signing on, similar to how you see individuals grab their hat and sign on and show their commitment in an athletic realm. You can see an example on page 3 of a picture we got back from a student, and then the filter that our marketing team put on and rolled out through social media. This then quickly morphed into our senior spotlights. So we were able to share our excitement for students on all of our social media platforms. Those are just 2 examples of our events. I'll turn it back over to Jackie.
Thank you. So as you can see, we really do make that connection with our students, which inevitably led to, I think, our increases from last year. So turning to page 5 and 6, we talk a little bit about dual credit, and I want to call out the nearly $725,000 in college tuition savings, a considerable increase from the year previous to that. We did see a slight decline in students taking dual credit classes, but the number of credits they are taking is exceeded. So we know that when we go into our classrooms and talk about dual credit registration and what the value of this dual credit class means and that these courses are transferable, they're recognizing and seeing that value. And then upon completion of a dual credit class, we mail a letter to all dual credit high school students and parents that they've successfully completed, stating what exactly that is and what it means and how it's transferable, how they get that transcript, and then what programming it aligns to at Midstate. On page 6 is showing our transition rate. So of those seniors that had at least one dual credit class throughout their high school career, we see 45% of them coming to Midstate. And notably, this is number 2 in WTCS. So I'm very excited to say that we did very well with last year's seniors coming to Midstate. And then finally, on page 7, this is the overall high school transition by high school within our district. So we have the direct transition from 2018 seniors and then the direct transition from 2019. In just 1 year, we increased our direct transition by 4%, which is pretty remarkable. Again, very proud of that. And we just had great success within our high schools. To call a couple of the high schools out that had increases of over 10% in transition rate, Nakusa High School, Amherst or Tomorrow River, and Lincoln High School all saw pretty considerable increases. 8 out of our 15 high schools increased their transition compared to the previous year. So very, very great success. I'm hoping to keep the momentum going as we continue through the 2020-21 academic year.
I thought it was impressive, Jackie. I really did. I was impressed.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all a great team and system to work for.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Okay, we need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
I was going to say nobody wants to go into it.
Second it. This is Rick.
Roll call, please.
Robert Beaver,
Yes.
Betty Bruschi, Alex,
Yes.
Craig Gerlach, Craig, are you still on?
I am, yes.
Richard Murden,
Yes.
Linnea Miller,
She's muted.
Are you still with us, Linnea?
I think Linnea is frozen. And Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Okay, we met in executive session, had a discussion, and now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Spargo?
Second,
Second, Betty.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carried. Thank you, folks.